Calder and his friends were witch hunters 800 years ago. They were looking for the witch who cursed their town with the Black Plague, which killed dozens of families. When they reach the middle of the forest, they find out that the Witch Queen is to blame. She kills the first man by making a swarm come out of his mouth. Then she calls up some of the dead to attack them, and Calder sets his sword on fire to keep them away. A fierce battle breaks out, and while his friends fight off the bad creatures, Calder goes after the queen. When he gets there, he finds a toy that reminds him of his dead family. When Calder realizes this isn't real, he snaps out of the dream and goes straight to fighting the Witch Queen. The queen pushes him through a hole in the tree and traps him with her roots, but Calder lights the sword again and starts a big fire. Then he stabs the queen to kill her. But as she's dying, the queen curses Calder to live forever, so he'll always be alone and in pain. Calder is still alive today and still works as a witch hunter. He is on a plane right now, and when he blows on the window, he sees a sign that there is magic around. Calder finds the witch with the help of a pin stuck in a glass of water. He gets rid of the person sitting next to her by spilling the water on his lap. It turns out that this witch is traveling with some old runes in her bag, which is causing a storm that will soon bring down the plane. In fact, the plane starts to shake all of a sudden, but Calder grabs the runes and turns them off, which makes the storm stop right away. Later, Calder goes to see his good friend 36th Dolan, who works for the same group as he does, Axe and Cross. It turns out that witches still exist and can live with humans as long as they don't use magic against them. Calder only steps in to keep the peace when he has to. Dolan is about to retire after 50 years of work, so Calder gives him an old pen to mark the event. He also finds out that his friends have already picked the 37th Dolan, the young guy who promises to keep an eye on Calder. The 36th Dolan then takes a cab home while the strange Belial watches from a distance. The next day, Calder gets a phone call telling him that the 36th Dolan had died while sleeping the night before. Calder is devastated by the news, so he goes to watch the event where the young man with the burning mark on his arm is officially named the 37th Dolan. The two of them then go to Dolan's flat to find out more about his death. Calder checks for elemental magic in the standard ways, like blowing on the window and using a lighter, but there are no signs. But as he's getting ready to leave, he finds 3 dead bugs and thinks that's strange. He puts a special powder on the floor, which reveals a pentagram. The pentagram then bursts, revealing runes on the walls. This proves that his friend was killed and that the whole room was cursed with rare black magic. When Calder looks more closely, he finds that the pen is gone. He also finds a bloody fingerprint on a book. He starts to think the new Dolan did it, but the new Dolan shows his burned hands to prove he didn't. When he was young, some witches set fire to his house, and Calder was the one who saved him. After that, the two go to the neighborhood bakery and make their way into the kitchen, where people are cooking with weird ingredients. Max, a strong witch, is there selling illegal uppers. When he hears the butterflies, he tries to run away with a cloud of them, but Calder stops him by putting the butterflies in a jar. Max says he doesn't know anything about a person who uses dark magic, but Calder keeps pushing, so Max tells him that he sold a banned plant to a stranger. Max can't see the guy, so he can't describe him, but he could smell cyanide and rotten apples on him. This makes Calder think that the killer is in a funeral home near an apple tree, so he sends Dolan home to keep him safe and goes to look into it himself. A kid is surprised to find a trail of gummy bears on the street, and when he follows it, he finds a beautiful gummy tree near a bright house where Belial is watching. Calder stops the kid from taking the sweets and tells him that they are actually rotten apples. The house gets old and ugly, and when Calder goes inside to find out what's going on, he finds a young girl who looks scared. Calder goes up to her, but when he does, he finds out that she is really Alec, a witch who is hiding. The wizard tries to attack Calder, but all he does is stab his hand and then run away. The cut on Calder heals quickly, and he goes after Ellis, throwing a knife at him to pin him to a wall. After finding Dolan's gift pen, Calder knocks Alec out and takes him to the Council of Witches, where the 37th gets her payback by punching Alec. Glazer, the leader of the council, uses card reading to show that Alec is guilty. She doesn't listen to Calder when he says that Alec couldn't have been working alone since the spell he used was so strong. Glazer calls up a scary thing called the Sentinel and gives Alec to it right away. Then Calder sees a dead bug on Glazer's shirt, which gives him an idea. He looks at the body of the 36th Dolan and uses a carving candle to show that magic is there. Then he checks Dolan's neck and finds another bug that shows he isn't dead but has been cursed by old-school black magic. The curse can only be broken by killing the magician who put it on. Alec is dead, so he must have been working for someone. Calder also sees a cut on Dolan's finger. When he checks the book again, he finds several bloody fingerprints that were put there on purpose to spell out "Remember your death." Calder goes to a witch bar for help because he doesn't remember his early life. All of the witches run away when they see him, except for the one who owns the house, Chloe. Calder asks Chloe to cast a spell to help him remember. Chloe doesn't want to help a witch hunter because he hunts people like her, but when Calder tells her it's for a friend's sake, she agrees. She then puts a memory pill in a cherry, and when Calder eats it, he finds himself in the cursed woods and sees his own burned body on the ground. But just as he's about to see more, Belial appears and breaks the spell. Calder finds himself chained to the floor all of a sudden. By breaking his fingers, he is able to get his hand through the handcuffs and get free. He then goes after Belial, which starts a fight. Unfortunately, the spell is still working on Calder, so he keeps having dreams and can't fight well. Belial takes the chance to set fire to the bar, so Chloe has to wake up Calder from his trance. Calder thinks she is the queen and tries to kill her, but she blows a powder in his face and wakes him up just in time. Calder tries again to catch Belial, but Belial opens a hole in the floor with a root and runs away. Chloe tries to put out the fire with a fire extinguisher, but it doesn't work. She laments the loss of her bar, which was all she had, and says that Calder is a monster, just like everyone else says. Later that night, Chloe hears a strange noise in her flat, and then all the lights go out at once. This lets the roots open another hole in the floor and pull her down to hell. Chloe tries to get away from them, and she sees Calder's hand helping her. But at that moment, she wakes up in the church. Calder in the 37th Dolan is studying Belial, and Calder asks Chloe for help again, persuading her to work with him to get payback for her bar. Chloe agrees, but since her bar is gone, she doesn't have the items she needs to make the medicine. Instead, she takes Calder to the house of a friend. When they get there, Chloe is heartbroken to find that her friend has been killed and that all the important plants have been stolen. At that moment, she gets a call from her friend's phone. It's Belial, and he tells her that more attacks are coming. Calder goes to see the dangerous witch Danny Kaye because they have no other choice. Danny Kaye agrees to give them the plants. But while Chloe is busy looking at the plant, Calder starts seeing images of his family. It turns out that Danny Kaye is a spy, and while her workers catch Chloe, Calder gets stuck in a spell that makes him remember bad things. He is happy to see his family again, but Chloe keeps talking to him and pushing on him until he wakes up. Back in the real world, Calder finds that Danique's guys are pulling him away. He knocks them all out right away, finds Chloe, and sets her free before questioning Danny Kaye. The witch says she doesn't know what Belial wants, she only gave him the plants he asked for. Calder decides not to punish her, so Chloe gets her back by taking Danique's magical gem and breaking it, which shows Danique's real ugly face. After that, Calder talks to Chloe and finds out that she is a dreamwalker. This means that she shouldn't need drugs to get into someone's mind. Chloe tells Calder that she is afraid of her power because she used it on her brother and he died. In response, Calder takes Chloe to a holy place where the past of witches is shown. After telling her about her family's history, he tells her he can't die and shows her how to see into his thoughts. The two go back to the night of the curse and find Calder's burned body, which roared when his friends got close. When the first Dolan tried to destroy the queen's heart, Calder started screaming in pain. This meant that they couldn't kill the queen without also killing Calder. The heart was kept hidden, and Chloe figures out that Belial killed the 36th Dolan because he knew where the heart was and would use it to bring the queen back. While this is going on, Belial kidnaps Max and takes him to the old woods. There, he puts Max up against a tree and calls on the witch queen with his heart. Back to Calder, he goes to the church and yells at the 37th Dolan because no one in the organization ever told him where they hid the heart. The young man says that the 36th Dolan was thinking about destroying the heart to free Calder. He also tells Calder where Belial's truck is, which makes it possible to find it. Moments later, Calder got to the woods and saw that the witch queen had taken over Max. When Calder is preoccupied, Belial drops the illusion of Chloe behind him and strikes Calder with fire magic and a few gunshots. But Calder is quick and kills him quickly by throwing a knife at him. The Queen takes advantage of this confusion to stab Calder with a root and take back the power of life. She explains that she didn't give it to Calder, but that he was just keeping it safe until she could get her body back. Max loses his shape and changes into the Queen. The Queen strikes Calder with a swarm of magic, but when Calder shoots back, the Queen disappears into the tree. Calder runs back to the city and finds that the 36th Dolan has come back to life. He isn't happy about this because he knows the Queen will curse the city with the Black Plague, and he can't stop her. The Dolan tells Calder that he has already killed the Queen and tells him to try again. Calder gets a famous sword and a bunch of runes to arm himself because he wants to prove himself to his friend. Then he goes with Chloe and the 37th Dolan to the meeting room, where the plague tree is kept out of the hands of bad people. Glazer's body is found, proving that the Queen is here to bring the plague. They follow a secret passageway into the cave where the council kept the arrested witches. Calder breaks a wall to free Alec's body, which is singing away the plague spell. The Sentinel shows up while Chloe is in Alec's thoughts. Calder and Dolan shoot back, but the bullets don't hurt. Calder is pushed away, but he gets up quickly and jumps on top of the Sentinel to stab it with his sword and shoot right into its weak spot, making it explode. In the meantime, Chloe appears in Alec's thoughts and tries to stab him, but Alec jumps on her and pushes her down to kill her. After some fighting, Chloe is able to push back and throw Alec into the root hole. This stops the plague spell from being chanted right away. While Chloe goes back to the real world,